Hi everyone, welcome to Red Fox Sewing and Crafting, and welcome to my craft room. I'm Joanna. So, this video starts our special series, the 12 Days of Christmas album. So, I already made the base for it. I will try to find a video that I can link down below to show you how to do this. This is a 7.5 by 9 inch album with a 3.5 inch spine, so it's gonna be big. And I am using 8.5 by 11 sheets for this whole project. So if you have those only, it will work perfectly for this. And then I am using, like I said in my little post, I'm using the Nostalgic Memories paper collection by 49 and Market, and I did start a little bit. I will show you what I have when we get to that part. I also am inking the papers, the pattern papers, with ink that I have in my stash. So we will start with the front. And you will need two pieces that are 7 3/8 by 9.5, and one piece that is 8 1/8 by 9. So with your 7 3/8 by 9.5 inch pieces, you want the 9.5 inches at the top. And we are going to score at 1/2 inch and 5/8. You're going to do that to both pieces. And then with the 8 1/8 by 9, you want the 8 1/8 at the top, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch and 3/4. So we're just going to take our pieces now, fold and burnish on all our score marks, and with your longer pieces, you want to be careful when folding them, because we have an 1/8 inch spacing and you want to keep that gusset. So now you want to miter on your corners, just like this, and you just want to do it to your 1/2 inch tabs. You don't want to cut into your gussets. And then once that is done, if you're using it, you can add your score tape. And again, you just want to add that to your 1/2 inch tab. You don't want to add anything to your gusset. We want that to be up, so that we have a little bit of space. So I'm going to grab our album, and we want the front side, and then we're going to start with our 8 1/8 by 9 inch piece. And this is going to go right on the outer edge right here. And if you are using 8.5 by 11 inch paper like I am, then these tabs will help keep the side tabs on the chipboard fully down. So just like that. That's our first piece, and then we're going to add the two other pieces on the top and bottom for 2 more flaps. And these you want to try your best to get towards your side flap. And again, you're aligning your tab to the top and bottom edges. As best as you can. Like this. And then I'm going to flip it around and do the bottom side. And there's our 3 flaps. So to keep this closed, we are going to use magnets, or if you want to use ribbon or Velcro, you can do that, but I'm using magnets. So what I'm going to do is just add these to the top of my flap. I'm going to add 1 more pair here, maybe. There. So I'm going to have 3 right here, and I'm just going to add some squirt tape here to keep them on my page. Like so. And so once we have these magnets here, I'm going to turn these around, turn this flap around, and then I'm going to grab 3 more magnets, put them right here, and then going to add a little bit of glue to the other side of my magnets, just so that when I flip this back over like this and squeeze down, and you want to make sure that your gusset is straight. When you do that, you can just lift these up, and if you're looking like I am, they'll stick. Sometimes this doesn't work and they pop off with the paper, and then you'll have a glue mark right there, and then you could just stick your magnets right on top. But my magnets just stuck down, so I'm going to put some score tape on top of these magnets just to keep them down. Just like that. So now we can close this up and it'll stay closed. See? On the back side, we have two pieces that we need. We have one that is 8 by 9 and a piece that is 7 7/8 by 6. The 8 by 9 piece, you want to score at 1/2 inch and 5/8. With the 6 by 7 7/8, you want to score, starting at the 6-inch side, you want to score at 1/2 inch, and then you want to rotate it clockwise, and then score it again at 1/2 inch. We're going to start with our back flap here, and we're just going to fold and burnish on our score marks that we made, keeping our gusset. Then we're going to miter our corners again. Okay, so my back flap is prepped, and we are going to take our tab and glue it to the outer edge again, just like we did with our large front flap. Just like so. And then we are going to work on our other piece. So this is going to be an angled pocket. We're going to fold and burnish on our 2 score marks that we made, just like this. And then we're going to cut the outer 2 corners, just like that. And then we're going to cut out the square like this. To get the angled part, we are going to fold our tabs in. And you will want to grab a marking tool. I'm going to do it on my back, the back of my pocket. So you want to measure from the folded edge. Both folded edges you're going to measure in 3 inches. So from this folded edge it's going to be 3 inches, and then from this folded edge, again, 2, 3, it's going to be 3 inches. And then you are going to take your paper trimmer or scissors or craft blade, whatever you want, and you are going to line up your 2 marks that you made. Going to draw this mark a little bit further out. You want to line up your marks just like this, and we're going to And I didn't do a very good job. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay. So now we have our angled pocket. Going to add my square tape. Now we can add this in our album. And I'm going to start with the bottom tab. Going to line this up with the bottom, and you want to put it right up against your flap. Just like that. And then we can glue down our second tab. Just like so. And I'm going to add, let me try 2 because we have this pocket here. So I'm going to do it on this part this time because of the pocket. I don't want to put a magnet close to the edge of my pocket. That would be bad. So I'm going to put a magnet there and a magnet here. And then I'm going to put some score tape, sticky side up, and then add my magnet on top of the sticky part. And then I'm going to close this, making sure that my gusset is straight. Stick this down. And I have my back closure done. Now it is time to decorate. We are going to start with the outside. So for the front cover, I have a large butterfly, 4 small photo corners, this large frame, and then I added this little butterfly, a group of leaves, and then 2 roses at the bottom. Gonna need family, and this is the bubble letter family, the cursive cherished, and then this is one of the laser cut lace borders, and I cut this down to 8 7/8 inches. And then for the paper, is going to be this. This is from the solids, it's not really solid, but it's the accompanying pack with it in the collection. So I'm going to glue this down. Trying to leave a border around the whole thing, just like that. Now, so I added some white to the back of my frame, and I left the top open so I can slide a picture in. I'm going to take my frame and place it as close to the center as I can, and then I'm taking my lace, and I want the larger one at the bottom, larger piece at the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of move this over to where it looks good, where I like it. So I think right there works. And then I'm just going to, since this is laser cut lace, I'm just going to kind of dab glue in some spots. I'm not gonna be able to get glue everywhere because some of the places are really thin, but I want to get as much glue on this as I can possibly get so that it sticks. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of eyeball it where I want it again, lay it down, and then I'm going to bring my frame back in to check to see if it still looks good. I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to stick it down. And I'm going to measure this for you really quick. It is about 2 inches from the edge. Next, we're going to add our frame, and you just want the size and the bottom. You don't want to glue the top closed, otherwise you won't get any pictures in. So we're just going to center this in here, just like so. And because these are cardboard pieces, I did use thin foam to kind of help elevate the pieces when layering so that they're not kind of wobbling as I layer. So my frame is down now. I'm going to let's add the corner pieces. And these are going to go slightly over the corners. Oops. Don't want that. They go slightly over the corners. Like that. So we're just going to add all 4 of our corners. And I'm kind of centering the pattern paper in the center of the edges of the pattern paper in the center of the corners. That's where I'm placing these, just to kind of help you know where these are going if you are following me with this collection. Okay. Next, we have our butterfly, and this is going to go right above the butterfly in the frame. It's going to go right here. And then we have our 2 words, our cherished and our family. Our cherished is going to go up here. And I am making sure that my frame isn't tucked underneath my word, so they can still lift the whole thing up. And then family is going to go down here, just like that. And that is our cover. The pattern paper for the spine and the back is going to be the same. It's this paper. This is from the patterned pack. And I cut a 8 7/8 inch strip. And then I cut a 7 3/8 inch piece, and then right after my 3.5 inch piece, just so that these 2 edges would match. So, going to glue this down. Our pattern paper is down, so now it is time to add our little embellishments here. So for the spine, I have one of the smaller frames, and then 2 of the tiny rivets that fit on this frame. That's just gonna go right there. And then for the back, I have this bouquet of roses with this chipboard piece that says "Every photo tells a story." And that is going to go right down here. For this piece, I am going to grab a ruler And I'm going to try to center this as best as I can. I'm putting this about an inch down from the top edge of my album. And here is the outside of the cover all done. So, inside cover. I'm going to start with the front. We have, for the paper, this page and this page. The lighter one is for the front flap, and then the darker one is going to go right here. So my pattern paper is glued on now. So now we can move on to the embellishments. This is a bouquet of roses with one of the larger bows. Then we have 3 of the single roses glued to the fatter of the or the wider of the bases. This is the alarm clock with the small bouquet of flowers, a medium-sized bouquet of flowers with some leaves, and then one of the larger bouquets of flowers. This one is one of the larger circle lace pieces with 2 bunches of I think it's lavender plants. And then we have the larger typewriter with a bird. So this is the back side of the front flap here. And we are going to add the alarm clock right here. And you just want to glue as much as you can down. Then we have the front side of our top flap. We're going to let's do the roses in the vase. We're going to do it on the right side. our top flap back is going to be the bunch with the lace. And let's add it here. Now I'm gluing these fully down. If you want to make them a little tuck spot, just glue like one side of it. Don't glue the whole thing down. I'm sure that all of my pieces aren't getting caught in anything. Now we have our little bunch of roses here. Actually, yeah, gonna do our roses on the bottom flat front. And I'm gonna add this one on the right again. Right here. And then last but not least, as I carefully move this, we have our typewriter with the little bird, and we're going to put him the bottom left corner right here, so we can be peeking outward. And that is our inside front done. And then we're going to add our spine pattern paper. This is the spine pattern paper. This is the back of the pattern paper pack, the cover sheet. And I cut it across. So this is 3.5 inches across, and then no, I cut a 3.5 inch strip from the top, and then I cut it down to 8 7/8. And then we're just going to glue this in. I'm going to put my paper so that the bottom is going towards the right. And then we have our back. We have this dot paper, and then this floral type paper. This is actually the back of the dot paper. So this is going to go on the front of our back flap here. Maybe. There we go. Gonna go right on the front flap, just like this. And I'm gonna be using some ephemera on the front, the front part of the flap here. This is one of the larger padlocks, and then one of the keys that I just glued on top is gonna go right there, right on this line. Oops. And then I'm going to add my dot pattern paper, and this is going to go on the back underneath the pocket. Our last piece is for our angle pocket, but we need to do a little measure, or a little cutting here. So I believe that this needs to be, yeah. So we're going to measure from the bottom and the right side, or, well, I'm gonna flip mine around. So I want from this side and then from the bottom here. So I'm going to measure over 2 7/8. 2 7/8. And then again, we can connect the dots. There we go. And it should fit. I'm going to do a dry fit first. Perfect. This fits. I'm gonna grab my ink and gonna ink this newly cut side really quick. And now this can be stuck onto our pocket. So here is the finished decorated cover. I might go back and add something to this. If I do, I will show that to you. So tomorrow we are going to start with the pages, the main part of the 12 Days album. I hope you are having fun making this with me. If you liked this video, click the like button down below. And if you want to see more of this, hit subscribe. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.